Hello. Let me try that again. I'm ill.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Yeah,
Hello.
so am I.
All right. Three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stag Studios. Actually, no, this is not Stag Studios. This is potentially the start of a new series that we've been trying to do for the last however long. Working title is Center Stage. If this video is titled something else, that's because we didn't choose to go through with that title. It might be something else. But the idea of this is to have a sort of raw, uncut conversation with upcoming artists. And I thought for right now, we'd have a beginning with a someone who's very close to Stag Studio, someone who works internally. I'll just let them introduce themselves, what you do for Stag Radio, and then also your sort of artist title as well.
Hey, my name's Nathan. I'm the assistant editor for Stag Radio. So I do all the editing behind the podcast. I edit all these videos. And my artist name is Sadbees. I've been in the sort of indie rock sort of field for around 2 years now, and yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that's the sort of aesthetic. Think I listened to the review that was on your channel from your friend, I think Nathaniel, who reviewed
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
album, the indie rock and the
Yeah, it's
Loverboy
the what are
aesthetic.
we? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was sort of
yeah.
vibe. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't sort of know, like you've named one of your projects as well. The two albums are What Are We and Bella Rain.
Yeah, that's correct,
The
bro.
two albums as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the production of those albums and maybe even before that, like you said you've been in the indie rock scene for like 2 years. So this is
Yeah.
before uni and all this other stuff. I guess I wanted to ask you first is how long have you just been having this like drive to do music? Is this like a thing that was happening ever since you were young? Like I hear that a lot with artists, like they just once they picked up instruments, they really couldn't put them back down. Is that a similar vibe for you?
Um, well, yeah, I've always sort of like really enjoyed playing music, and um yeah, I did start when I was pretty young, and my first instrument was keyboard, was piano. Uh I mean, I still play it to this day, but not as often, and I enjoyed it back
Hmm.
then because you learn like your favorite songs on keyboard, like songs you'd hear on like video games and stuff, and you'd
Yeah,
sort of just yeah, you sort of just like get really
absolutely.
into it, yeah.
I
And
don't know
then
what it was for you. Do you remember a specific video game they tried to play the music to? But I learned
yeah.
Song of Storms from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what it is, like the soundtrack on video games, and you just learn them on an instrument, and from there you just start learning other stuff that you get into, like
Hmm.
other like music that you sort of tap into when you get older and older, and then from there just,
And your
yeah.
music taste sort of develops along with your ability to
Exactly,
play, I
man. Yeah,
suppose.
but I feel like that's what the fun of it is really, and that's why I sort
Yeah,
of got into it. It's just I'm able to, make music out of the instruments and
yeah.
stuff that I've heard other people do, it's inspiring and it's also cool in a way, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you said like you were in the indie rock thing for 2 years as well. So how did that begin? Because did you start? I know you work with a drummer, Aiden.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, did you sort of join together like 2 years ago, or like how did this sort of journey into sort of releasing music on the internet and all that
Yeah, I
stuff? How did
mean,
that start?
yeah, so early year 12, okay, well before year 12 I was in another band for year 11 called Vintage.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the drummer for that band. Um and then it came, after that, the band is disbanded because of, start sick form and everything. And
Hmm.
I met Aiden because he came from a separate school. He just joined our sick form,
Hmm.
and we were both looking for like a sort of place to be, playing music, And we had similar tastes. He was a drummer. I was a guitarist at first. I was a rhythm guitarist, and then I switched to bass eventually. But we had similar tastes at the time. He was into sort of Arctic Monkeys, Libertines, sort of stuff like that, and I sort
Hmm.
of picked up after that, and started learning off of him. And He learned off of me, and then from there we sort of yeah, developed the whole idea of Sadbees, because yeah, originally it was a solo project
Hmm.
that I came up with. But then of course I needed a drummer, a good drummer, so I asked Aiden to come along and yeah, help out
That's
with it,
good.
and yeah, he's been great ever
So
since. Yeah.
the concept of like sad bees kind of was there for a lot longer than just like the 2 years that you were working. How long was that sort of cooking in the background? Was that even when you were part of Vintage?
Yeah, I mean, the whole the songs of Sadbees were sort of just lingering about, like they were just here and there,
Hmm.
like I don't know, like the songs were being written here and there, and like before sick form, during earlier 12 or something, and they sort of just wrote themselves eventually when we were like full cycle into the project, they sort of just came
That's
together
cool.
as soon as we solidified the idea, yeah. Yeah.
So I have a question. Sad bees, the name, where did it actually come from? Like, what does it mean to you, or potentially, or is that part of the mystery?
Um, well, it's not the most exciting story. Uh,
It's all right.
yeah, I mean, the name itself was just it was from my first song, Without You.
Hmm.
Um, I saved it onto my laptop, like my first ever draft of it. I saved it. Um, of course, this was like early year 12, so it's
Yeah.
pretty dramatic and everything. So I called it something like sadness, and then I
Hmm.
like missed like I missed the keyboard, and you know how B's next to N on the keyboard
Yes. Yeah.
showed up as
Yeah.
sad B's, sad Benez, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, this could be something, and then yeah, that's how it came to be. Yeah, just
That's that's really interesting, actually. I like finding out about stuff like that. That's quite cool.
yeah. I mean,
Gosh.
it's funny, I mean, now that I think about it, it's quite cool. But at the time, I was just like, is this really worth telling people? It's just
Well,
slapping my
I was
hands on
just
the
curious
keyboard.
about it. Ever since I first heard it, I was just like, I wonder what that name means.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a
That's
cool
cool.
name. Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, the your journey through your first album as well, like just from that first draft to cooking up that whole album, is there anything that you wanted to talk about that, like that journey with, or yeah, any trepidations? Because as of when this episode should be released, it will be, I think, a year since that album released. That was released on 3rd of January.
Wow, you've done your
Yeah.
research.
So I wanted to know,
Wow.
do you, how does it
Yeah.
feel?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, with the first album and everything, it was a lot of work. I did it during mocks, our year
Hmm.
12 mocks. Of course, that's when those are the mock results you use to get into university and stuff to see if they accept you.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are really important.
The
And
intro to the album literally says, "I
yeah,
sacrificed my sociology marks
yeah,
to this."
yeah. I mean, yes, I had to kind of throw it in there, and yeah. Yeah, but it was during a 3 month time span, 3 to 4 months, had like a
Wow.
month to write it, a month to produce it, a month to promote it. It was
Hmm.
like that sort of thing, and I sort of wanted to just give myself the challenge to try and be able to do it, because
Hmm.
I felt like I had so much music like waiting to be released in me during that time, and I got really into self-production and this sort of recording thing, really, 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 like really into it, and I
Yeah.
really wanted to try and you know use it for something that I can look back on, when I'm older. And
Yeah.
yeah, I spent the whole of those 3 months just working at what are we,
Hmm.
and yeah, that's how the album came. Yeah.
Well, a question to ask you in retrospect would be that intro. It says I don't really know what this album is about. At the start, at the ends. In retrospect, do you we sort of work that out for yourself what that album was
Yeah, I
about? Did you
mean,
kind of go into it as like an experiment and you looking back at
yeah.
it? How does it feel being on the two different sides of the album being developed and then having it looking back at it as a fully produced item?
Yeah, I mean, the album itself was it was supposed to be a sort of joke at first, like a sort
Hmm.
of because it's like I'm only like what 17 and I'm
Hmm.
just sort of messing about, making music and stuff. And it still
Yeah.
sort of is like a sort of like a joke, like a first sort of album thing, a bit of fun, and
Hmm.
I think but there is a lot of meanings behind the songs that go behind it,
Hmm.
a lot of
Yeah.
um a lot of stuff that goes in lyrics and a lot of stuff that really connects with me.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
into all of my lyrics, yeah. Um
There's a
yeah.
lot of sort of narrative and like tonal shifts throughout the
Yeah.
album, like specifically with like Bellarine as well, like listening to it, and then I think it was Madman, and then the tone completely shifts after that as well. It's like,
Yeah.
and a similar thing happens with What Are We as well, but it's really introspective, especially when you say you're like a 17-year-old messing around, but the stuff you're talking about is like um is it's able to provoke like a lot of emotion, I think, for something
Thank
that
you,
was
yeah.
just like jokey. Specifically, I wanted to ask how it felt with Over Here in the album getting like
Yeah.
over 6,000 plays on Spotify for like that
Yeah.
experiment. How did it come about? Was that just like really good marketing, or was that just like uh how did that happen?
Um well, it was my first release on Spotify
Hmm.
and um well I'd asked like one of like a few like my group chat of friends to share it on their story, on their Instagram story. And then from there sort of everyone else started doing it and then
Hmm.
out of that I guess more people just got into the sort of idea that um some kid from their school is just, making music and sort of want to tap into it, so
Yeah.
and a lot of the people come from outside of like where I'm from, like for a lot of
Hmm.
people from the internet and from the posts that I post online or stuff and yeah, they just come from here and there, yeah.
That's cool. Like, obviously I know you in like a different context. Like we met in the Stag Radio sort of thing as the first meeting when we were looking for like assistant editors. Because this stuff takes like ages to edit. When you like don't know what you're doing, like
Yeah.
myself and Christy. But and when I first met you, my first impression of you was that you were kind of quite chill and low key. And then afterwards, I think I saw something about Sadbees. I think because we got in touch over Instagram or something in the Sag Radio account, I could see the Sadby stuff, and I was like, no way, is this the same guy?
Yeah.
I was telling Kirsty and Sophia, it's like, oh wait, we have like someone who's an independent artist working with us because I don't think you mentioned anything about it when we first met.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like well, now that I'm in uni, it's sort of
Hmm.
different field from sixth form, different people, different faces, different
Yeah,
places that you have to be in, sort of changes you, I feel like in sixth form is a lot more free, and then
yeah.
yeah, now you're at uni, you have a lot more responsibilities and
Hmm.
sort of other people to meet, other people to connect with and yeah.
Well, that's kind of brings me on to the sort of next step was the release of Bellarine, because that would have been during essentially your time in uni or like a little bit before over the summer, because that released in November.
Yeah.
So that would have been, did your sort of, because you study creative music technology,
Yes. Yes, I
yeah,
do.
as your student. So did that sort of did you feel like you were refining your skills as a musician, also getting into the music technology side of things? And I'm really curious about that journey. Like, that's such a big moment in your life going into like uni, and then on top of that, releasing like your second album.
Yeah.
That's so much to
Yeah.
hack away at when what like 2 months. You join in September and then you release in November. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I was in uni, I was still actually making the album,
Hmm.
I had to like, what was it? I had to go my way around things, because I'm not at home anymore. I don't have the recording gear I normally use. I don't have Aiden as a drummer, so I had to
Hmm.
sort of figure my way around things and I sort of did, there were sometimes I'd bring some recording kit into some of the practice rooms, just do it there, I mean, it wouldn't sound too great, because there's no yeah, there's nothing to help with the recording, but I mean, I made it work, and
Hmm.
it sort of came together. And yeah, I did the same thing when because but before I came to uni, I was in America as well. So
Hmm.
I was recording the album in America whilst I was there as well. Yeah, and
Gosh.
I made the same thing work over there, and
Hmm.
just came together after that. Yeah,
Yeah, the sheer sort of perseverance it takes to continually keep grinding away at the same thing
yeah,
is that's admirable. Like
yeah,
and also just in a similar sort of way, that I was curious about Sadbees. I was also really curious about the name Bellarine because I think that name that word just doesn't exist. It's like a word that you
no,
came up with.
yeah.
So I want to know like, and then you just to name the album that as well. I know it's like the title track.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does is it like a thing that the audience has to figure out for themselves? What does that mean to you?
Well, I was looking for a really delicate word,
Hmm.
Before the song was going to be called Angeline.
Hmm.
No reason as to why. It's just, you
Yeah,
know.
but
But
a
then,
similar
yeah, it's
sort of
a
feel,
similar
right?
sort of feel, yeah. And really wanted the Bella Rain sort of came to me as I was writing the song, um, and it sounds sort of French,
Yes, yeah,
Bella
yeah,
Rain.
yeah.
So yeah, I get that sort of vibe. But it's a nice word, and I feel like I sort of stuck with the sort of vibe I gave it, because I mean, I can't remember how I put the words together, but
Hmm.
um, I mean, it just came, Yeah.
That's and sort of an interesting insight into the sort of artistic process, I'd say, like, because you write the stuff as well as producing it. I'm
Mm.
really curious because you said you started off as a like did you say like rhythm guitarist first?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so when you're making these songs, is it music or like vibes first and you put the lyrics over that? Do you come up with the lyrics first? Like, what is the, or does it kind of switch song to song concept first? Because I know people who sort of write in like this way and that way. I'm really curious how it works for you.
Uh, well, I try my best not to force myself to write a lot, I feel
Hmm.
like whenever I write, it has to be during a time where I feel like I have to write,
Hmm.
Um, when as it comes to writing the music, I normally write the music first and then the lyrics.
Okay.
Lyrics normally come last just because the lyrics I spend a lot of time like actually like looking into it and studying it and perfecting it because I feel like that's one of my best qualities. I feel the
Hmm.
definitely lyrics of the song. Um, I used to write a lot of poetry um,
Oh, that's
back,
cool.
yeah, as part of practice for the lyrics. I used to write a lot of. It stemmed from back in like year year nine ish. I
Hmm.
used to be really into rap music and sort of try and go
Oh
for that,
gosh.
yeah. And then from there, it sort of stemmed from rap to starting to write poetry. And some nights I would just sit by my table and get my book out and write in pencil and just see what comes up with, sort of see what I come up with, it's sort of stress relief and it's kind of
Hmm.
stuck with me since then. And yeah.
Did you, gosh, that's a lot. Because when I think about the aesthetic that these music sort of evokes, and then what you're talking to me about, like with stemming from hip hop and all that stuff, the poetry that you wrote about, was it a similar feel to the sort of like Sadbe's lyricism now, or was it different? Were you trying to like evoke the style of the artists you were listening to back then?
Hmm. Um, a lot of the, I mean, a lot of the poetry that I'd normally write is just based on how I feel in the moment. It was more of
Hmm.
a diary, it was like a sort of a way of expressing where I was at that time and when I look back on it, I can sort of like imagine myself being in that position again, and it was whenever I write like these sort of things, my main priority is how I feel.
Hmm.
Um I know a lot of people who sort of write lyrics just for like the fun of it or if the word sounds catchy, but I feel like emotion's my main priority when writing, especially poetry, it's
Yeah.
always the biggest goal, yeah.
it's really so hard as well to keep the feel of what you're like saying as well as trying to constrain it to like rhyme because poetry doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
have to rhyme
yeah.
but when it comes to like music it's a much like especially in the sort of music that you're producing like the rhyme scheme like as she sways her scent decays and all that's like the lyrics and all that stuff I remember catching stuff like that because I'm still into poetry and I like hip hop and stuff so lyrics are usually the thing I notice first, as well as the like production of everything after the fact. So I'm always really,
Mm,
really curious to see how it works for other artists as well. But yeah, it's really interesting to see sort of the lyricism as a diary as well. Like I know it's not been that much time since Bellarine has come out. I mean, it's been what, like just over a month. But how does it feel with like the reception to it um under your belt? Does it is it surreal? Does it just feel like it's just like oh well, there's like on to the next thing. Does it hit you? I'm
mm.
like very curious to know.
Yeah, I mean, the reception I got was incredible, you know. A lot of
Mhm.
people sending me videos of them listening to my songs in the car or at parties and stuff. I got a DM the other day after I released Valorant and well a couple weeks ago actually. Some person wanted me to give them songwriting lessons, like one-to-one songwriting lessons.
Wow.
Yeah, because they just really liked the song, the first track on the album, the what's it
Yes.
called? Girl from the River. They really, really, really liked that track, and
Oh, that's
they
cool.
wanted me to give them one-to-one lessons. And
Hmm.
at the time, I sort of declined because you know I was sort of busy and doing
Hmm.
stuff. But you never know. I mean, now that I've got more free time, I might tap into
Yeah.
it. You know, I mean, could be fun.
I'm
Yeah.
I just I'm very curious as well to ask about your I feel like every artist has to get asked this in an interview. Your inspirations when it comes to writing yourself in terms of what you try to evoke. Or like lyricism as well as production as well. You mentioned to
Mm.
me that you went to visited Abbey Road like
Yeah.
it's like the studio as well with the
Yeah.
Beatles. So I'm assuming that the Beatles are an influence for sure, but I'm very curious to know about some of the other influences you have.
Yeah. I mean, the Beatles were pretty big um part in where I am. Sort of, I
Hmm.
remember during quarantine, me and a couple of friends had listened to the Beatles and like Oasis and sort of jammed to their music on call whilst in quarantine. That was our
Hmm.
sort of thing back then. Nowadays, it's sort of changed. I mean, when I was writing the first album, Sadbees, my main inspirations were like Mac DeMarco
Hmm.
and just the sort of indie sort of stuff. Mainly because I was really a big fan of their sort of slick production, you know, sort of their
Yeah.
clean production and just how I don't know, just how raw it felt, you know. Sort
Hmm.
of it was really energetic, a lot of his songs, and he was an interesting character on stage as well, and I sort of got really into that. Yeah, especially uh especially starting to learn about music production, and then you see videos of him in the studio and doing his stuff is really inspiring, yeah. And then from there sort of for Bella Rain, it was sort of the same sort of thing, you know, sort of the same sort of vibe. But I feel like nowadays, um, sort of changed for me, you know,
Hmm.
inspiration wise. I'm now more into more of the grungier stuff, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff sort of coming out of like London and
Hmm.
stuff like that with all of the upcoming bands
Hmm.
and sort of the whole underground London scene. It's really cool, you know. It's
Cool. So
really
like
cool.
sort of like
Yeah.
grunge rock type stuff, more like
Yeah, I
a
mean,
little bit
sort of
more
like
gritty.
Wonder Horse, Fontaines, bands like them,
Hmm.
and seeing them come out, Bleach 93, seeing all these new bands come out, and
Hmm.
they're sort of they I really the reason why I love those um those bands loads is their lyricism is
Hmm.
really really good, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention this as well. I almost forgot. You go to gigs loads. Like I see on your like Instagram these different things, but I was very
Yeah,
curious as well. Just the how it influences your sense as a musician as well. It's one thing to just listen to them on Spotify, but it's another thing to sort of experience that in the same venue as the artist. Especially if you're into the it's more like underground indie stuff as well. And oftentimes you'll have like venues that are very sort of more intimate. You might like 100, 200 people or something like that. Have a much smaller venue.
yeah.
Would you say that's also impacted your stance as a musician, like your sort of journey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't spend too much time in uni doing the clubbing sort of things, and I'm
Hmm.
always by myself, and just
Hmm.
doing my thing. And I think out of that, I was kind of looking for things to do, because you're sort of just at uni and everyone's doing like getting into flat parties and stuff, and just
Yeah.
and I feel like well, I was close to London anyway, and my friend Aiden told me I should get this app named Dice. And
Ah,
from
yeah.
that, yeah, and from that, I was able to sort of get really into going to these gigs in London. And at first, I was kind of skeptical about it,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like, I wasn't really too sure on live music at first because I thought um, I wouldn't get much out of it, or I might not like the band, but you sort of end up just getting addicted to it, getting really, really
Yeah.
hooked into it, and you start meeting all these new like cool people and all of these like new artists, new sounds as well, new
Hmm.
inspirations, and I feel like I go to these gigs a lot just to help me understand more of what actually goes on in there.
Yeah. I
Mm,
know like I personally care a lot about like the performing arts just generally. Like I like theater and stuff like that. It's a very
mm,
interesting experience to sort of at a certain point, if you start like thinking about it too much, it becomes a little bit to enjoy the moment, but a little bit to also study how they're actually performing, a little bit of like how they're sort of interacting with their audience and how they're, like for I'm assuming as a musician as well, you'd be seeing the way they perform,
mm,
and all that sort of stuff that you might overlook otherwise.
mm,
Um, but yeah, it's quite an interesting sort of part of the music process.
mm.
Let me say, but like it's I think I've seen some sort of recordings or some things of like you performing because you perform live, or have performed live as like part of, I mean, did Vintage perform live? Or like do performances?
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
do some, yeah,
Yeah. Have you
some
done live
performances.
stuff as like Sadbees as well, like with an audience or like even like a jam thing?
No, believe it or not, I mean, we did do a sort of jam thing with the people at the uni now, because the
Hmm.
people at uni are really, really talented. But as a
Yeah.
as a sort of like passing, no, I kind of wanted Sadbees to be sort of separate from live sound because at the time I didn't really like
Hmm.
performing live. I really hated it, I didn't like the sort of pressure it put on you, and at the
Hmm.
time I was really big on being a performer, like a sort of like you'd have to be this sort of way on stage, to make it work.
Yeah.
But nowadays I feel like, I don't have to do it. So that's why I like performing more. But the whole Sadbees thing, yeah, I wanted it to be more of a recording artist sort of thing, like just make the music and then record it and then just put it out there. Because
That's
I
really
feel like,
interesting.
yeah, I got more enjoyment out of that, I think.
Hmm.
I feel,
And
yeah.
it sort of exists as its own thing. Like that is its own
Yeah,
bubble,
exactly.
like sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
digital sort of interaction as
Yeah,
opposed to like the
exactly.
live. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
Um, no, not really. I mean, me and Aiden were jamming a
Hmm.
lot to the Sadie stuff back then.
Mm.
Um, at one point, I feel like we were gonna start like a eventually a project on it, maybe
Hmm.
going live, but that never happened because by the time we did that, it was already the end of sick form, and
Yeah.
so it just went our ways,
Yeah. That sort of brings me onto sort of the next like and potentially last big thing that I wanted to talk about was speaking of things going in separate ways, you and the Sadbees project, you just made the announcement today. I found out about it like a day or two ago, and I literally, so you told me that you are quizzing the Sadbees project, and my first response was like, "What?" in all caps. I was so shocked. Um,
Yeah.
but I was really, really just want to know your mindset, why you quit. Like, I'm sure you have a lot to talk about with that.
Yeah,
So take it
yeah.
away.
I feel like a lot of a lot of things musically has changed about where I want to go, you know.
Hmm.
I think the end goal for me is definitely to still become a recording engineer or a sound
Yeah.
engineer, you know, for other bands. I think my biggest dream is to be able to do that somewhere in London and record all of these bands that I look up to and help them put out the music and stuff. But the whole Sappy stuff, I feel like it was, I still feel like it was just for fun. You know, I feel like it was never
Okay.
too something too serious. You know, I never thought I'd make music and make it big out there. You know, I just sort of did it for the fun of it. You know, it's just sort of a yeah, sort of a funny thing, and yeah, sort of took it that way. Yeah, yeah.
Gosh. So do you feel like you've sort of accomplished what you set out to do with the Sad Bees project? Like the expectations you had at the start of it and looking back at it now, would you say you're satisfied with the journey that Sad Bees has gone through?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good run, you know. I mean, it's as I said, I always do stuff to look back on it, you know, and sort of
Hmm.
reminisce on it. And I definitely could look back on that and be proud of what I did and what me and Aiden did. And we sort of made this sort of platform for ourselves, you know, and sort of portfolio that we can sort of give to people and say that we made this, you know, and be proud of it because
Yeah.
a lot of work did go into it at the end of the day, you know, and yeah, I'm happy with where it went. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I'm happy that you can be it's something you're proud of as well. I'm definitely proud to have you as a member of Stag Radio as well. With the like expertise that you bring, for people who don't know, like Nate has been managing so much of the like music production stuff. I think in my time, I've been here like 4 years, and you are one of, if not the most technically capable person I think we've had at Stag Radio, which is incredible. So the work you've done is amazing, not only with us, with the for any students who are actually watching the collaboration with No Wave that is coming up, and also your work as a musician independently has been just incredible. So
Thank
like
you.
a
Thank you,
round of
man.
applause. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's essentially everything that I wanted to cover, I suppose, with the journey of Sadbees. It feels like it's it's incredible. The fact that again, I'm gonna say reiterate this one more time that by the time this is released, it'll have been a year since the release of the first album. But it's a
Yeah.
lot of work to look back on, and it's great that we'll, in years to come, you'll still be able to keep looking back on it. And
Mm.
obviously, I wish you success in work as a sound engineer, recording engineer, working with different musicians, um, or giving songwriting lessons as well. If that does take off, it'll be great.
Thank
But
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just one last thing is there anything that you'd want to sort of plug or any song for anyone who doesn't know about Sadbees, a song that you would suggest that they go listen to?
Oh, song that I should
Yeah.
suggest. Um, sorry, I'm taking my time to think. It's a
It's all right. I put you on the
hefty
spot.
question.
There's a lot
Yeah.
to choose from.
Yeah. Let me go on my phone real quick. There was this one song that I was listening to on the way back home from Southampton.
Yeah.
It was a really, really good song and I really liked it. Um, I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You by Tom Waits. It's a great song, that.
Okay.
It's a really good song.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
great.
really like
Love Tom
the
Waits.
sort of the feel. Yeah, the feel of that song is amazing. It's really heavy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
like it.
while you're out there doing your listening, do yourself a favor if you don't already listen to Sad Bees and check out the project as well. It's great stuff. I really liked Rain as a song on its own. It's like, the title track.
Thank
But
you.
there's a lot of good stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, for everyone who did. Stay tuned for the collaboration. If you are watching this at the time it comes
Yeah.
out, there will be a project with Sag Radio and No Wave happening in the month that this is put out. I'm looking forward to that. That's also basically being spearheaded by, not even basically, it is being spearheaded by Nate. He's like doing everything himself, which is great. Um, but yeah, thank you so much, Nate, for your time and for
Thank
all
you,
the
man.
work that
Yeah.
you've been doing. And thank you for watching from wherever you are. This is the sort of the first center stage upcoming artist sort of segment we've had. So it was great to start it off with you. And here's to many more interviews in the new year.